Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, and today not so much a review but a roundup of what I think are some of the best 5 Casio watches that are available for under $30 US. So let's get on with it. Number 5 is the Casio AE1200WH. Now this one, available at a frankly ridiculous $14.45 on Amazon, is probably the best value of all of the watches that we're going to look at today. This gets a lot of love on YouTube. It is known as the Casio Royale. There's a vague thread between this watch and the James Bond franchise. It looks not dissimilar to a Seiko that Roger Moore wore in Octopussy in 1983. Hence the love on YouTube. But it does pack an amazing array of features for $15. Obviously a digital watch here, rather complex digital display. This analog is always representing the home time. We've got a little map of the world here, which if you look close enough, I'm in Sydney, Australia. That's my time zone represented there, with the main time and date and day down in the bottom display. So pushing this button gives us a second time zone, a world time if you like, while the original time zone displays on the analog. We've got 5 alarms, we've got a timer and a stopwatch. If I press this button, it cycles through 3 preset time zones. Great if you're a traveler, or great if you have business dealings with multiple time zones in your day-to-day business. This one does have a light as well. It's actually pretty decent light, not electroluminescent, but 2 LEDs in the bottom corners lighting up the entire dial. What else have we got? 100 meters water resistant, 10-year battery life on one of these Casio lithium batteries. Batteries are around $1. Very easy to replace as well. Quite a chunky little piece, this one. 39 millimeters across, 43 if you include the pushers, and 12.5 millimeters thick. 18 mil lug width. Now that is one word of warning with this and some of the other watches that I'm going to talk about today. 18 mil lug width does mean that if you change them from the original strap, they can look a little unusual. The watch can look proportionally too large for the strap. But there it is on the wrist. I think this is a great watch. Real wrist presence, but doesn't look too bulky. Certainly not in terms of some of the G-Shocks or Casio's other large offerings. Nice little signed tang buckle there. If you can only afford one of the watches on this list, I recommend this one. I think it is a cracker. Now, number 4 is the watch which I have owned and then gave away to a friend. So we're dealing with photos here. I'll post a link to the full review that I did a few months ago in the description if you want to look at that. This is the Casio MRW200H, and for a mere $15.50 from Amazon, I think this again offers amazing value for money. You get an analog display and a day-date complication with 100 meters of water resistance and a pretty decent soft resin band for a mere $16 or around that price point. Now there are 15 different models to choose from, varying between numerals, Roman numerals and indices, variety of different dial, strap and color combinations to suit all tastes. Now these are 44 millimeters including the crown, a kind of standard 40 mil without the crown. Battery life not quite so good, only 3 years, but again the cells are cheap and easy to replace. Oh, and the lume is pretty poor, to be honest. Number 3 is my personal favorite. So much so that I've got 2 of these watches. This goes back to my school days when Casio was king and the Casio calculator watch ruled the playground. This is the DCB32 model. Now the stainless steel one, I've had this for about 10 years, so Casio's claim for a 10-year battery is valid. This is still running on its original battery. This is a little bit over budget, so we'll leave that to one side. But this one here, the resin model, is available for $24.95, so fits well within our $30 self-imposed budget here. Now, practically speaking, the calculator is a bit useless. If you're carrying a phone with you, a smartphone, chances are there'll be far more effective calculator available on your phone. Buttons are a little bit difficult to press. As you can see, 39 times something equals something else. There we are. But really, this one you're buying for the aesthetic. You're not really buying to use it as a calculator. So again, plenty of features for the money. This one includes a 25 entry data bank because let's face it, who remembers phone numbers these days? If you lose your phone, this could actually come quite handy with loved ones and relatives on there. What else have we got? The calculator, as discussed, 5 alarms again, stopwatch, dual time, so again we've got that pseudo GMT feature, 12 and 24 hour with the push of a button here, and again a reasonable light on this one. Why did I buy this watch? Well, I bought this watch specifically because it has a 22mm lug width. I have a number of 22mm straps lurking around without watches to fit them to. Highly recommend this one for students. I think it's a great look, real little bit of geek chic on the wrist there. I think this is a cracking watch. My 7-inch wrist, quite an unusual aesthetic, but I think a really nice look there. Okay, number 2, talking of geek chic, we have the iconic F91W and A158 pairing. Now, again, the F91W gets a lot of love, particularly by TGV, the Urban Gentry. He's a big fan of this one. I think everybody should be a fan of that watch for under $10. You can often buy it for $9.99. This bracelet model is pretty much identical, costs an extra couple of dollars. I think I paid about $12.50 US for this one. Please have a look in the description for a more comprehensive review. Also, this one is notorious as the only watch worn by Osama bin Laden and former US President Barack Obama. Surely the only watch, and probably one of the only things that those two gentlemen had in connection with each other. Also notorious because it was often used as a trigger device in bomb making. Now, I'm certainly not advocating terrorism here, merely pointing out the darker side of this watch, which may or may not have its own appeal to you. A little bit of history in here as well. Super light, very comfortable, obviously much smaller than the watches we've been looking at to this point, but has a retro appeal all of its own, and arguably the only features you really want on a watch. Time, date, day, we've got an alarm here, stopwatch, and one of the poorest lights you're ever likely to see on a watch there. I'll try and pop up a shot if I can actually get it to work. All right, number 1. So you're going to have to do a bit of work for this one. You're going to have to look hard. I managed to find this one on eBay, or the metal bracelet version of this one on eBay at the moment for $29.99, so just scraping under budget. This is the ASQ800. This is from Casio's tough solar range, as it says there on the dial. So we're heading towards G-Shock levels of ruggedness and practicality, but without the G-Shock price, as it comes under that $30. I've had this one for just over 3 years now, and it has assumed the role of my zombie apocalypse watch. I took off the original resin strap, popped it on one of these linen Velcro straps, quite rugged and great for water sports, camping and so on. 42mm diameter, 46 across the pushers, quite thin at only 10.5mm thick. A little bit of curve on those lugs there, so it actually wears a little smaller than its size there. It's a kind of G-Shock light in many ways. This one, pop it on my wrist in just a second. Again, ani-digi, so you get the best of both worlds. You get a nice, clear, analog display there. Again, a little bit of lume, though it is a bit iffy in quality on the hands, but you also get the benefits of a digital display. This one, tough solar, the name says it all, has a battery inside, but it's charged by the light of the sun and any other external lights there, so you won't need to replace that battery. This one says hi there. It's got plenty of battery charge at the moment. If you leave it out of the light, the digi display shuts down first, and then eventually the hands shut down after that. The whole watch springing into life when you expose it to sunshine again. But I think well worth the extra coin, this one, $30. A really good, tough, durable watch. This one has had a bit of poly watching. It did get a little scuffed up over the last 3 years in my company, but that's to be expected from a watch of this price range. So Casio watches, plenty available, plenty out there, a lot of appeal in some of these watches, a lot of retro characteristics in some of them, a lot of practicality in others. Please leave a comment if your favorite Casio is missing from this selection, and I'll see you in the next video.